thank you all so much for being here. What we'd like to talk to you about today certainly is the educational system, not only in the city of St. Louis, but in the state of Missouri. We are particularly concerned about what appears to be a fast track that the St. Louis Public School District situation is going. And Senator Gibbons and I, the pro tem of the Missouri Senate, want to make sure that we, along with everyone else, is working in the right direction for the kids, for the children of this school district. Our goal is to make sure that everything possible that can be done to protect the children of the cities of St. Louis Public School System is being done, that every avenue has been examined and looked at, that everyone understands what's going on here. Our hope is that if we cannot shore up this school district, protect what's going on right now, and prepare for the superintendent to stay there, for the school board to continue to represent the citizens of the school district, that the transitional board, if that is what's eventually recommended, that there be some legislation in place, some guidelines, and that every avenue is in place before that happens. Senator Gibbons and I have a meeting tomorrow with Kit King, the Commissioner of Education. We want to examine all of these things. We want to make sure that all the data, all the information that should be supplied to the State Board of Education has been supplied. We want to make sure that that information is accurate. We want to make sure that everything that the Commissioner said at the meetings in Jefferson City last night was the good and right information. We want a good outcome in this situation because it's not about the politicians, it's not about the school board, it's not about the school system itself and everything that's involved with that. It's only about the children and making sure that those who are in the school district have the best education possible.
We look forward to encouraging everyone who has an interest in this or a thought or a suggestion to communicate that to us or to their legislators. It's urban education in this country does not have, we don't have a lot of places to look to see where we have great results. But this could be the place where we start. We got to bring everything in, bring everyone together, see what we can do to lay a good foundation for these children and their futures. And I am pledged to support and work with Senator Coleman on that, and anyone who cares to come to the table with ideas and a thoughtful discussion on how we best move forward for the children in the City of St. Louis schools.
As an elected official, I would be the last person who would agree that we should disenfranchise the voters in the City of St. Louis. The voters have spoken. They've told us who they want to represent them. We have another election coming up in a couple of months. Certainly that is, I'm sure, part of what's happening right now with the pressure to come to some decision by the State Board of Education. Those are the types of things that I will address also tomorrow with Commissioner King. We want the public to know, and we want everybody interested in the St. Louis Public Schools to know that the good thing about Senator Gibbons and I being here is that we are both interested in making sure that everything that's done is fair. Certainly whatever's done won't be pleasing to everyone. You're never going to get everybody to agree to what goes on anywhere. We will address the issues surrounding 12 other school districts that are provisionally accredited, one that's even unaccredited, and why we're dealing specifically right now only with the City of St. Louis Public School.
Are you for or against the state takeover of the district?
I have always been against the state takeover of the school district.
Why?
Well, there's examples. We can look, for instance, at the Western School District and just the 800 pupils that are part of that school district. The state came in and took that over, and there is vast agreement that the state is not in a position to manage school districts. There are 524 school districts in this state. Is the state prepared, or the number of employees we have and the job that they have, does that position them to be able to run a 33,000 plus school district? And I say no.
Senator, you said, Senator, you said that the legislature has not been involved in education. And yet
Well, I didn't say that. I mean, we've been very involved.
Well, that's
But
not
the
what
city,
you said earlier.
the city of St.
If you
Louis,
give me
we
just
have.
a second, I'd like to finish my question.
Sure.
You said that clearly the legislature has not been that involved in education. Yet we repeatedly hear from politicians over the years that education is the biggest issue facing your
Well, I think-
constituents.
yeah, I think-
The question is, why hasn't the legislature been more involved, and why are you waiting until now?
Well, for people who've gone before me, I can't answer for them. But for me personally, most of the school districts in this state do an excellent job. The district I represent, I've got 8 school districts, they do a terrific job. But this is a district that's failing. I can't answer the question why the members of the Missouri Senate from the city of St. Louis have not brought forward ideas on how to make changes to improve that, but we're going to now. And I think it's clear that the state school board may take this district over. They may impose a transitional board. Those are things that aren't within our direct control. But certainly what we look at as far as what we do with urban education in this state and with how to address the failing school districts, we're going to take those issues on and bring everybody together, find out what the options are, and plan, and we're going to put together a package that we hope will lead to a better opportunity for the children in these districts.
Ms. Coleman, how long have you been a legislator?
I've been in the legislature 6 years.
Have you ever brought forth a plan?
Well,
Like
each
this?
year I sponsor significant numbers of legislation that deal with the St. Louis public schools and education in general. And interestingly enough, one of the recommendations made by the 5-member advisory panel centers around legislation that I passed in the 2005 session. So yes, I have been working toward improving schools across this state for the 6 years I've been in the legislature.
You said you're against a total state takeover, but how do you feel about the transitional board?
Transitional board is certainly an interesting perspective. If it comes to a transitional board, certainly I need to revamp my thinking and my actions. My actions relative to the transitional board will include having an exit plan, having an exit strategy. I've compared this to the war in Iraq. We can't just go somewhere and try to do something if we don't have a plan, and that also is part of the conversation. I want to make sure that if Kent King is going to recommend to the State Board of Education that a transitional board goes in place, that we know all aspects of it and have a plan to get out of that school district in a certain amount of time to make sure that it is turned back over to local control. And I am a big believer in local control.
Will you ask the commissioner tomorrow to postpone a vote next month to impose a transitional district?
Well, certainly that's on the table. It is my intent to, as I said, explore all options with Kent King, and certainly to fix or do whatever we can in the 30 days we have before they meet again.
Do you believe any action should be delayed until after the election?
I believe that the election is very necessary. I believe that the residents of this city should speak. The residents of this city are the ones who send their kids to the school. Their voice should not be silenced in this matter. We, however, as Senator Gibbons said, don't control what the state board will do. And that's why we feel that it's important to be working with Kent King, with this St. Louis School Board, with all the people that are interested in making it work for everyone. My hope is that we don't have a state takeover, but if it is, we plan to be prepared.
Do you think, but do you think that a decision should be delayed until at least after the election?
I do. I do. I believe that we should have the election because the citizens should have that ability to speak.
And then the board would have a better idea of the possible direction that the district would be going based on the new members of the school board?
I think that the big problem that we've had for a long time is that everyone tries to decide what side they should fall on based on who's on the school board. Whether we have who everybody like or who people don't like on that school board, we can't make decisions about the school district based on personalities. I sponsored legislation a few years ago to recall school board members and was faced with opposition from across the state. So it's not a St. Louis issue. It's a school board issue. Out of 524 districts, nobody wants the state to tell them how to run their school districts. And I think the greatest injustice to the students in the St. Louis public schools is that everyone's centering this debate around school board members. And that's not where I think the debate should be. It should be on getting greater resources and greater buy-in and greater pupil performance in this district. That's where it ought to be, not on the politics and not on the people.
Senator Gibbons, will you ask the commissioner to postpone a vote on this next month?
I'm not prepared to make a decision like that, because here's what I think has to happen is what's in the best interest of the children in this district. And there's several different things going on that affect that. Now, the state school board has their role, and they're going to pursue that. What I think has to happen from where we are in the state Senate, in the state legislature, is to look at what we can do to create an environment where there's an opportunity for academic achievement and success. Because I can guarantee you, in the 21st century, in a knowledge-based economy where a good education is critical to your ability to have a future, that if you're failing half the students, you're doing a huge disservice to kids. So, I think that, what the public debate always becomes about, well, they're going to take this over, it's a transitional board, what board members do we like, what board members don't we like, who's in charge, what teachers do we like, all about the adults. Forget about that. It's about the kids and what's best for them. And this legislative session, we're going to work through that in the legislature to determine what, in our best judgment, achieves that, and then move those ideas forward.
Do you foresee legislation to block a transitional school district sometime within the next 30 days?
I don't think so. I think that's. I would be surprised if that happened.
Although we're particularly interested right now in the St. Louis Public Schools, the legislation that we help support and work through will be good for all of the state. When you talk about St. Louis Public Schools, I want to make sure that everybody understands that stability is really important also. For the first time in a while, we've got a superintendent that is actually being able to get things done. I understand that Diana Borisall is handling the accreditation part of what's going on in the school district right now, and Dr. Martin is handling the day-to-day functions. It seems to be working. I do believe that it would be a great injustice and a really big mistake if Diana Borisall, is not retained through this crisis. I can't see this transitional board being able to be productive if they come in and immediately, if they are what ends up happening, snatching away some continuity.